you guys a little look at what we're working on today. So this is a new bright walking King Kong, and obviously he was complete when I got him. As far as the exterior condition, he's in excellent shape. I mean, really excellent shape. Let's put that down. So try and do this one hand. The problem is he wasn't standing upright. What would happen is he would stand, and when he tried to walk, he would collapse forward or backwards, which means something inside wasn't right, obviously. So that's what we're looking at. So I started taking him apart a little bit at a time. Took some of these screws. As you can see, the dining room table's a little mess while I'm doing this today. Amanda and I have been busy doing shit at the table, but we're taking them apart. And here's what I've come to find. So I was like, why is he not supported? So I took out just a cut. There's a screw here. There's a screw over here. Where is it? You find these little holes. It's hard to see. There's one there, and there's one on the other side somewhere, I thought. Anyway, regardless, it's coming apart. And so I was able to remove this 1 foot. And when I look inside, what you can see is, if you can tell, this is actually snapped right here. And if you look inside, you can actually see there's a, I think it's still in there unless it fell out. Yeah, the mechanism that holds it is, let's do this. So we do the light on, maybe that's better. Okay, if you look at the mechanism, it's right here. And this is where it broke off of in here. So the idea is I'm gonna take this apart, and it's kind of a styrene plastic, is that maybe, just maybe, we can get this stuff to work it together. So the first order of business is to get this off and get it apart. I've got the legs apart, but I can't, there's a little piece up top that's kind of holding it together. And I'm trying to figure out if that's clipped on, glued on, whatever. The phone lines are down, Dr. Durant. We have nobody to man them today, so they are down. Rich tried to call in. Let's doing it. All right, so we got to get this apart. So I think what we're going to do, I'm going to go, this is the call-in show. All right, there's screws all the way through here. So I'm going to take the batteries out. I mean, as far as the mechanics, they work. And we're not chipped, it's not scratched, it's just, it's taking a beating. Now, the only thing I'm going to say is, if I am able to repair it, this plastic is, Christ, it's 40 years old, I guess, at this point. They made these things, I saw, up until, I think, the mid-90s. I bought from this gentleman before. This belonged to his son. And the last thing I bought from him was from the 70s. So he's probably around my age, I think. Yeah, it's probably close. The guy I bought from, like, the father who was selling these toys, I think he told me he was 80 years old. So we're gonna start taking this apart. See if we can't get this together. You know, if you don't like taking shit apart, I mean, I could just leave it as a display piece, which is great. Unfortunately, the engineering side of me says, well, wouldn't it be cool if it made it work? And yeah, it would. Wouldn't it even be cooler if I just bought one that worked and been done with it? I didn't pay too much for it. As a display piece, it's fantastic. But like I said, if I can get it to go. The other problem is when you turn it on, it doesn't make the right noise, and the arms are supposed to go up and down, I guess, like Kong's going up and down, like, you know, beating his chest kind of thing. You saw that from a man's dead. He's not dead. He's not dead. He's not dead. And first of all, he sold it to me because his son, I guess his son left all his stuff in the house. So we're going to work on getting these screws out of here. I can already see it starting to come apart. I mean, let's be realistic. The electronics inside of these with the batteries, you look at them, they're no different than, yeah, there's a screw down in there. They're no different than a basic circuit, right? We're on and off. Nothing more than a flashlight style mechanism to do it. They just have 4 batteries to run it. Let's see if they came out. Did I get those yet? Not yet. Let's see if we can do this before the phone dies. Actually, let's kill the light. Yeah, usually I do this downstairs in the toy room of solitude, but it's brighter up here and I thought it'd be a little bit better. This is good. I love these scams. Your debit card has been taken from TD Bank. Please contact us. First of all, I don't use TD Bank. You dumb motherfuckers. Fucking scammers. Start getting text messages, your package is delayed, or any of that stuff. Yeah, that's, Amanda, what are you wearing? Help me out with this. What is this getup you are wearing? My daughter is got some kind of Pokemon getup pajama thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Got your pajamas early today, huh?
I decided to because I took off my clothes because I wanted to just feel comfortable.
Well, you do what you got to do there, girl.
And I want to make common sense.
Kick off your shoes, and I think this is our last one here. We're going to get this last one out of here. Yeah, the question is if I get it apart, can I get it back together? Of course I can. I've taken worse things apart and made them work. This one, when things, I knew there was pieces that were broken inside. Like I said, but it's the condition on the outside is so good. I'm just like, how can we not try and fix it? All right, there we go. So let's take a quick look at what we have in here. Okay, very simple mechanism. Speaker, the speaker might be bad. Now, if the speaker's bad, what is it, hon?
Sorry, what are you looking at?
I'm taking this apart. So if the speaker's bad, it's really actually easy. You just have to take out the screws, disconnect these wires, put a new one inside, and you can get these speakers anywhere. These are cheap. Here's your battery mechanism that brings or here's your battery compartment to bring the power throughout the system. And let's see what it looks like inside. So if you've never seen one of these before, which I haven't, this is the fun part of discovering are these kinds of things. Okay, here's our spring mechanism. I see a little piece of tape or something floating around. What is that in there? Little piece of plastic. Interesting. Sorry, let's get that over there. All right, so here's our mechanism to make the arms go up and down, right? And when the arms go up and down, this is just crazy, the basics behind it. But, oops, there goes the arm. So when the arms go up and down, there's a spring here, over here, and this spring operates the mouth going up and down. So as the arms go up and down, they pull the spring and off it goes. So there we go. So we got to make sure. One of the things I would tell you if you're not used to doing this kind of shit or taking things apart, take pictures of it as you go so you don't wind up saying, where did this go in the end? Because what'll happen is you're like, oh, I don't know where this went in, but you can see it right here. This is the mouth here. And when this spring, when these arms go up and down, it operates the mouth. So I want to be very careful. This spring is screwed in. That's good. This one is not. Once the springs come off, it's a bit of a pain in the ass to do. But let's see what we got as far as our feet here. Okay. So we've got one arm. MyMegoLike candy. We'll take the, okay, so this arm is, all right, so this is our main arm. And this is our, yeah, that's pretty cool. All right, that's no big deal. It's basically our crankshaft to get that working. So inside here is where the pieces that I need for that leg. Now the question is, can I get this apart without breaking it? And what is going to be the mechanism to do it? I'm hoping it's not glued in any way because this is the piece there. If I can get that out, I could probably glue it and then do the different way. But these seem to be attached here pretty darn tight. They seem to be pretty tight, and there's the motors inside here. So I think probably what the process is to get this off. And again, I'm hoping it's not glued. I'm guessing there's a screw on the inside or something that's holding this, maybe a cotter pin that's holding this shaft to the leg, if you will. So maybe, just maybe, we can get this apart without breaking it. If it snaps, well, that's gonna suck. And it feels like it's going to because trying to see if it clips and lifts. Well, it might. But the plastic is so fragile due to age. I really don't want to break it because I'd rather it's a nice display. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Nope. There we go. That's why it's not coming apart. There's a screw right there. That's what I wanted. Okay. Let's get that out and then we'll get this whole leg apart. Fantastic. Fun part's putting it back together. Again, take pictures along the way or make a video like I'm doing. There we go. There we go. Come on out of there. I'll just pull that. And come on. Make sure you do it in a space where you're not going to lose anything. You don't want to lose any of these screws inside the motor box or any shit like that. Because they will want to pop out on you for sure. Mandy, can you contact Best Friendgy and tell her stop worrying about silly things? Yeah. Okay, so there you go. So this is actually, all right, so that is attached. It's got kind of a plastic nut on there. I thought it was, he could keep saying, oh, this show is filthy. This show is filthy. Yes, yes, looks like me motorboating. That is correct. All right, so here's our broken piece right here. This is what snapped off from our foot. So we've got several ways to fix this. One is to just take this whole piece out, which I think is what we're going to do. This, I believe, should release the piece inside. That connects to that camshaft, if you will, I believe. It looks like it, or I thought it was. Okay, maybe not. Looks like we're gonna have to split the foot open. Oy vey. Okay, this is to get the foot apart. All right, we need to take this cover off. There we go. All right, let's carefully do this. I'm hoping they didn't put glue in any of it. So far, no, but God, you never know. Gotta make sure there's no hidden screws in there we have to work out either, so. Oh my God, there's a whole nother show going on in the commentary. I've never seen so many comments since the Dr. Durant show. Okay, there it is. There's our piece that's broken. And so this piece is attached through here. Right, sorry, I'm like going off camera. So this piece is attached through here, and here's where it's snapped. You see right here, this is snapped. And this piece will actually attach to here. And so what we're looking at is it fixable or not? It's gonna be a good question. We have to see if this, so this plastic might be a candidate for super glue, but this is actually what gives him his stability to stand up, because when it snapped, because it's heavy, don't get me wrong, this is heavy with this motor in here, and it just broke. It probably fell too many times. So the question is, with this little bit here into here, I'll see, can I zoom in? No, I can't zoom in. Can I get that to stay without breaking and without not staying? So we're gonna try this stuff first. This plastic weld, I don't think it's gonna work on this plastic, but we're gonna try it anyway. If it doesn't, it's gonna be super glue city, and you know, that stuff only works a little bit. All right, so the idea behind this is to quickly and efficiently get this stuff on here. My video is not even close to toy ploy level, but I do my best. Okay, now the next thing is to take this and let's see if it bonds. I don't know if it's going, oops. I don't know if it's going to bond, because I don't think this plastic will work with this, but we'll see. Otherwise, like I said, it's gonna be super glue city. Come on, get in there, please bond. I don't think this is the right plastic for this. Doesn't feel like it. If it bonds quickly. It's kind of a super glue. It basically melts the plastic back together. Yeah, the Dr. Durant show, I know, it's more professional. Nope, okay, so that's the wrong glue. So we're gonna see what we can do with either super glue or Gorilla Glue. Give me a sec, we'll clean it up, try it again. All right, well, I said Gorilla Glue, but we're gonna skip the Gorilla Glue. We're gonna try something a little better. And unfortunately, due to the plastic's age, no matter how much we put on it, it'll probably won't last long enough to go back to its normal self. But here's what we're going to do. We're gonna try some JB Weld Extreme. Let's get this in here in case it decides to drip. Let's get our other part ready. And what we're gonna do is see if we can't get that in there. Fortunately, it's inside, so if there's any extra glue on it, hopefully it won't be seen. All right, let's give it a shot. Don't hate, congratulate. That's what we say. Let's try this again. Okay. Give it the old 30-second holding. We together? It's getting there. We're going to see. I don't know if this is going to hold. We'll find out. It's supposed to be a super strong bomb, but we'll see. Let's run the the hemorrhoids commercial while this tries to dry. It does not feel like it's taking, which sucks. Which means I gotta try a different glue. This does not feel like it's grabbing, not at all. Yeah, Buck, that's an excellent idea. That would be the next step, is to actually bring a piece of metal between the two plastics and bond them together with a brace. That's an excellent idea. Thank you for that. See, guys, somebody gives a shit. Not you lot of crank yankers. Yeah, that's not going to take. All right, so this is going to be fun. So if that's not taken, we're going to clean that up. You thought that would have worked. But Buck's right. It's going to, in the end, it's going to require something on either side of this that's going to be glued to both pieces. So what I'm going to do is get the piece in place, see if I can get it glued, and then we'll go ahead and see if we can't. It's interesting that glue is not taking place on that. It really is. So I thought that would be it. Yeah, I was thinking actually putting a small piece of metal on each side, Buck. Very small. So that we're basically putting, like you said, putting a brace like that. One here and one here. And then bracketing them together, which would also work, I believe. So, and I don't think I have a clamp small enough to hold them together as such. So let's try one more. Take that last bit out of there. And it wasn't the previous glue, that's the problem. It's this plastic type. This is not that crappily steroid plastic like the outside. This is a stronger plastic, but not the one. It's not working with any of these. I guess we're going to try Gorilla Glue. The only thing that sucks about Gorilla Glue is it seems to take forever to dry, in my experience. I don't really love it. But essentially, these things are like airplane cement, which basically melts the plastic back together when you try and use this modeler cement or whatever on there. So the idea is if we can get it to just hold. Actually, I have a very good idea to do it. There we go. It's already starting. Gorilla Glue for the gorilla. Let's try some. fall off yet? Yep, it already did. Okay, so let's get it back on here. And then we're gonna use a bracket of support to just hold that together for a while. Okay, so the idea is we're gonna have to let that dry, and then we're gonna do exactly what Buck was saying to go ahead and put a support mechanism on. Actually, Buck, you know what? This would probably be enough. This might be enough in itself to put that on there. I'll take these off and just leave the bracket on because it's squeezing pretty well here. Give it enough pressure. And that could be enough to hold it, maybe. I have to make some modifications, but I think thin strips on either side. So the idea is to get this fixed, support it, right? Put some support mechanism, and then go ahead and put it back together. Then it's gonna go back into here and we can reassemble it. Now that takes care of that side. Question is, do they have one on the other side? Which they probably do. So we're probably gonna have the same thing. Are you troubled with painful highlights? You super... Yes. Yes. Look at all this commentary. I love the haters. It makes me so happy to see haters. Because if there's a lot of haters, then I know they're hanging out with Sanchez and Hurley at Dr. Sanctum's place. All right, let's see. Oops, you're going to go in here. That can go back together. So the speaker, I believe what's happened with the speaker is that the speaker is probably bad. I mean, it could be the electronics inside, or maybe it is the electronics inside. Let's give it a, I really don't want to fuck with this when it's like this, but let's give it a test, shall we? Let's see what's causing it. I really don't want it to, it's going to start walking, but it's all right. Is it off? We're off, okay. Start, here's the start. And for those of you who don't know how to put in batteries, Dr. Durant, follow the instructions printed inside. It helps. Okay, let's see what we got here. Let's see if we can do this without taking off all this. Yeah, there's no sound coming out of that speaker. So either the electronics are shot inside or the speaker's bum, but speaker's easy. Anybody can replace a speaker. Even you, Brian Sanchez, can replace a speaker. It's not hard. So the idea, once that's done, is that this this right here will go up and down. It'll move the arms up, and the idea is when the arms do one of these, boom, 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 and then the mouth opens and so on, and off it goes. And that actually is all based off of there. So when I get this back together, I have to check and make sure that those pieces are all in alignment. It's possible that they're out of alignment. I don't think so. I don't see any other broken parts inside. So it looks to me, yeah, it looks to me like, oh, and the eyes don't light up either. So that's another problem. The eyes don't light up. So we're going to see what's going on there. Oh my God. This is like, you know, they say that I put this as not for kids, but I think this is nothing but kids. All right, let's see what we got in here. These are the eyes. Let's see what's going on with the eyes. Don't hate. I think the only one in here that I well, I don't know everybody that's on right now, but the only one I saw commenting that probably has any engineering skill in any of this would be Buck. So the rest of you probably wouldn't know a fucking screwdriver from a fucking table knife, but that's okay. We can't all be smart. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's see if we can take this out. All right, here we go. Oh, let's turn it over this way a little bit. There we go. All right, I'm gonna kill the light there. So these are the actual, well, here's the lights. I wonder if the bulbs are bad. Because these aren't LED, I'm sure. These are probably, there's your mouth mechanism. Here's your lights that aren't lighting up. So they're probably bad bulbs in there or something. There we go, little bulbs. And let's take a look. They're probably not getting any juice is probably what's happening. I'm sorry, they're probably not any good. They're probably burnt out. Yeah, it's a little hard to tell from here, but I love the fact someone found the boil and pop. I put that up, Buck. That was in the that was on that that Montgomery Ward's was it the Action Jackson or something that I found? Yeah, that was on a webpage. I found that. It's crazy, right? Okay, so the question is, are the bulbs burnt out? Where's my other phone? I just want to use my other phone and see if I can see it. So again, for you non-engineering types, you can use today's modern technology of a phone. And we can zoom into things. Let's take a look in there and see what they look like, shall we? Are they? I don't think they're LEDs, are they? No, those aren't LEDs. I don't think so. Okay, whatever it is, they're not functioning right. Maybe they burnt out. I mean, all you have to do is put little bulbs on the end of this. You have to find little bulbs, but again, if these bulbs are bad, all you have to do is cut the wires off the end of them, and then solder 2 new ones on. It's all doable. These are all things that are fixable. These are not bad. Yeah, either that or it's not getting juice from here, which could be this is burnt out, something inside here. I'm not ready to take that apart yet. Well, we can, but there's a mesh of wires in here. That could be anything in here. It could be, I don't see any broken solder points or anything. So there's a motor. The other thing is that this device in here, I don't know if it's supposed to be on all the time. Actually, I'm gonna go watch the video from Tony May, who was a working one, and see if it might be that these only come on when the motor turns in a certain direction or something happens. So I have to take a look at that too. But if I get it on and operational, I'd be happy with that alone. It's just a really cool old piece and a lot of fun here. So we'll work on that. So we'll put these back in for now. Like I said, it's very, very possible that we could have some damaged circuitry, which I am not getting involved in that. That's just way too much pain in the ass. But you can buy all these things with the internet today. You can find this shit anywhere. You can take pictures of it, Google for it, and you'll find places that'll ship you this stuff from all these crazy, like, you know, overseas sites. Most of them are in China. They'll sell you these little pieces. I mean, even the battery, you know, if you guys ever find a battery compartment where the contacts inside are corroded, you can go online and just buy the parts for them. You know what I mean? You could just we used to call those rice lights. Used them on rice lights. Okay. Those are regular, they look like regular bulbs, Buck. They're not LEDs. Actually, they don't look like LEDs. They look like regular bulbs to me. But you could go ahead in there and you can find these parts almost anywhere. It's pretty cool what you can find. Now there's a button on the front of him that causes him to do, see, there's this mechanism for his arms going up and down. Okay, so is this sticking? Is that a problem? The button is kind of the front. It's like a demo mode. All right, there we go. Okay. So do we have any damage down here? I don't see anything damaged down here. That looks okay. I just don't want this leg to get all caught up while we're doing this. Let's see that. Okay, so what happens is he walks, and then you'll see the arm mechanism going around. And that's kind of where he lifts his arms up and down. And then in addition to that, what that does is pull the mouth open and close. But the lights aren't going on, so I got a feeling that the lights are probably burned out. I would mostly guess that they're burned out more than anything else. And see what that's there. Yeah, it was great when Radio Shack was around, right? You could just go in and pick this stuff up. Although I didn't really do any of this stuff when Radio Shack was around. It wasn't until later that kind of stuff happened that I used to do. All right, let's see if we can get them to, let's try this again. And then should go off the arm mechanism. There it goes. And the mouth opening closes. You guys probably can't see it. So the other thing with some of these springs, right, over time they oxidize. These look okay, but sometimes your springs lose a little bit of their sprung, and it's not bad to hit them up with a little cleaner. Sometimes very carefully put a little WD-40 in there. Be careful with it against the plastic, it could eat it. Yeah, Radio Shack was fun. They sold all the knockoff technology crap, and even the crappy computers they used to have, the TRS-80, the trash 80s. Everybody used to call it, I remember back in the day. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put this back, and then what's going to happen here is I'm going to work on the lights after I get the rest of it going. I wanna get these pieces working. The tension, yes, sometimes it loses its tension. What did I say? It loses some of its sprung? I thought I said it loses some of its spring. All right, so let's get these on, because the lights are an easy fix. Actually, quite an easy fix. Could I have everything you need? Yeah, yeah, you could have bought it. You're right. I believe Radio Shack is owned by China now, and I believe, well, I don't know if it's still out there. Actually, let's take a look. They used to have RadioShack.com, which was just buy stuff online, but you kind of had to know what you're looking for. It was a lot easier to walk into a store and ask the guy, do you have any of these rice lights, as Buck would say. Let's see if RadioShack.com is even out there anymore. Radio Shack. Electronics retail company, yes. The official Radio Shack website. There you go. So you can still find stuff out there from them. But yeah, this could be a little bit pulled. I'll make these a little bit tighter. And so on. The speaker, I don't know if it's the speaker itself that's crappy or not. There's ways to test it. We can test that, but it's just as easy to go out. You can take this part number. I bet you if I put that part number into Google, I can probably find one in 2 seconds, but let's see. Okay. Let's see what we got. So it's a Y. And again, these are things, do you really want to make them work, or you just want to leave it for a showpiece? For me, I'll never use it once I get it working. I just like the idea that it's working. Yeah, so there we go. It's right there. Oh, actually, well, that's a YD58-1. Yep. Oh, this is a 0.5. That's a 0.25 watt. This is a 0.5 watt, 8 omega, and it looks like they're all 0.5 watts instead of 0.25. And those look like they're for sale in the Middle East. They're all in Arabic. Let's see, here we go. All right, well, this one's in Portuguese. Acme United Corporation. All right, that's not it. Anyway, they're out there. You could probably find them on eBay or some other places. So question is, do I want to do that? Do I want to just keep the original speaker? It's fucked. If it's fucked, maybe it's not. But if you want, you can just take out these solder points, very easy, or cut it, remove the speaker, screw a new one in, and just solder that on. It's not terribly difficult. Last thing I information was when I lived in Florida, power was out, so I went about rice lights and 9-volt battery cap. Nice. I mean, these are tiny little. You're right, Buck. I can see why you call them rice lights. They're the same friggin' size. They really are. They're absolutely tiny, which is interesting. So the question is, just curious to see. Yeah, this is the one thing I hate about Gorilla Glue. It just takes forever to dry. So we're gonna get it dry. We're gonna let that sit overnight. Let that sit overnight with that clip on it. We'll hold it together. Hopefully hold it where we want it. Looks like it is. And then what we're gonna do is that in place? Yeah, then what we're gonna do is we're gonna put some, actually I'll probably go get braces now. We're gonna get some braces. We're gonna super glue them. I mean, honestly, you could even do it with wood, because wood's strong enough. Plastic, wood, metal, something to hold them together, just thin strips of it, but not balsa wood. You've got to put something together. Actually, even balsa wood would hold it probably. But you want to put something together that's got a little strength to it. Anything. You could even glue pieces of metal like that, or plastic, anything from there to it, just to hold the two pieces together. It'll make it a bracket. Yeah, and that's where we're at. That's where they're at. The speaker. Yeah, they're all over the place. I'm finding 0.5 watts, which shouldn't be a problem. That's just makes it a little bit louder. You wake up the fucking neighbors with your Kong. But yeah, let's see what we got. So like I said, so what I should be doing is introducing this. so I don't see any. I don't see any loose wires in there. I actually had an old little radio over there that the wires were loose. Trying to see if I can hear what this, yeah, it sounds like it's fucking loud, I'll tell you that. Okay, yeah, it's a fucking loud toy. I think the speaker on it might be beat, but there's ways to test that and so on. All right, so we're gonna leave that at that. I'm gonna just gently kind of place it back together, except for the foot. I don't wanna screw it all back together yet. But I don't want this thing I don't want the wires pulling apart or anything like that. So I'm gonna pull the batteries out of it, or at least one. We don't want somebody accidentally turning it on. It's a violent show, by the way, be careful. And that goes for you, Brian Sanchez and Dr. Durant. All right, so we're gonna get this in to his spot, which means this is going to go into here. I guess the big question is, in which position do the arms start? And I think they're going to be, I think they're going to be something like this. So we could try. If nothing else, his arms are just going to be going, his arms will be starting higher or lower than they should be. Oops, excuse me. Okay, let's put that in. And I know this thing I could tell it hasn't been taken apart before, so I'm clearly the first person that did that. But yeah, you have to be so careful with these things. You don't want to, oops, we just took that apart. We don't want to break any of the plastic. That just makes it suck, because once the plastic is broken, it blows badly. It's good luck fixing it. Some of it's not easy at that point, but there are some really cool, there's some very cool, what am I doing here? There we go. There's some very cool ways to fix some of these. I could tell you that. What I really like about, this isn't such an old toy, but what I like about the older toys is, like the older ones, there's a lot of the pieces were metal. They had plastic, of course, but the inside, the motors and everything was metal. The gears were metal. Everything is in plastic, and over time, plastic wears and breaks, as we all know. And that kind of sucks. Let's see how he's looking. Let's see. Yeah, I just want to make sure that spring's not, I'm going to have to go back and watch the video, make sure that spring's not, oh no, that's not going to get trapped in there. That's actually going to get pulled. That's going to get pulled. So when that rotates, that should pull. And that should open his mouth, although I don't see it, so I think the spring's in the wrong direction. All right, anyway, you get the idea what we're trying to accomplish here. Go back, make some adjustments to it, get it going, and then that should be it. So for all you crazy, there we go. All you crazies out there, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I am not a professional. I do this stuff for fun. So don't hate. And if you can't fix your own toys, don't criticize how I fix mine. I'm just kidding. I make a joke. I want to do this, see if we can get this. Ay, what a pain in the ass to get what a pain in the ass to get this in. I'll be playing with this for a while to get it back together, I can see. I can already see that. So I'll be doing that. But what you don't want to do is pull too hard, because you don't want these wires disconnecting, right? So the art of putting the toy together, it's a whole nother video in itself of doing this kind of stuff. But I think we're going to, there we go. There we go. All right. Let's get Kong's arm on first. MyMegoLike candy. All right, so at least I know how to get that back in, which means that's also the way it should come out. Come on, you son of a bitch. There we go. Let's get this onto here, and then we'll put it back together. There we go. Ooh. Interesting how these aren't, that the distance between these, I would have thought this would have been a little bit longer in the pieces to make them put more force to each other, but maybe that was too much tension for the toy. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. It goes together, but it could be more tense. Okay, I just want to get it to a point where it's more or less together. Okay. Not 100% yet, but we will get there. Okay, so we still have something going on here. Oh, all right, so there's a piece over here that's... There we go. Now the other side doesn't want to go in. So there's something in there that wants to... What do we got in there that's keeping that from going together? Okay, so so you can see this is matching. And we get to here, it's not. Now I've pulled this a couple of times, get that together, which means it's not quite right where it should be. And we're gonna need, there we go. I think we just got it. We just got it. All right. Now that we got that off, let's do a quick test. See if these arms work. See if he drops his arms. Yeah, his arms need to be moved down. They're too far up. They're way too far up. It's not even doing anything with his mouth because they're too far up. Oh yeah, it's got him tight. Yeah, we need to move the arms way down. All right, let's turn that off, and then we'll wind up moving the arms down. So the arms have to start way lower. Way lower. Candygram for Mongo. Candygram for Mongo. I love that. Mongo like candy. It's fucking hilarious. One of the best movies ever made. Love that movie. It's fantastic. Okay. Oh, so that was getting hung up on what's inside there. Okay, so that means these guys, these arms will need to go down further. They're starting way too far up. So we're gonna pull this out. And we're gonna start the arms. I think they probably start more around here. You know, like anything else, I sat there and I said, man, when these people put this shit back together in the factory, like, some of these guys are able to put these toys together so fast. But I guess, you know, like anything else, you get used to what you need to do to make it work. And then off it goes. All right, careful. But this is a very top-heavy toy. That motor inside there is heavy. And I'm not surprised that the bracket for it's broken. A lot of the ones I see online are not working. Not just the eyes don't light up, but I mean, the motors don't even move. And I'm guessing when this came out, it was I imagine it's a pretty popular toy. Rich, have you ever had these? Because I was talking to Martin about it. And Martin found a picture of one on eBay, I think. All right, there we go. I mean, it's a King Kong toy. I think he said he might have had it, or maybe he didn't have it. I don't remember what he said there, but yeah, so we're gonna have to move his arm because that's not where we want it. Yeah, his arms aren't in position. That's why he's not moving there. So that shouldn't be on. That should be closed. Means I'm putting too much tension on the back. So I have to figure out the arm adjustment and so on. And that's part of the fun. So the easiest way is to go back and watch the video and see where the arms were positioned when I got them. Because you could see this is pulling. That's pulling too tight, which means that the arms aren't where they should be. And it needs to have less tension. So most likely this is going to go into here like that. And then we just have to get the adjustments right, and that's it. And that should do it. All right, so we're gonna go back and I'll be fucking around with this for a while. Once this glue gets all fixed up and that piece is good, then we're gonna go ahead and, there we go. Once we do that, then we're gonna go ahead and put the piece on and get it back together and so on. But yeah, you're right. Buck, is the plastic welder, so some of this, like that liquid stuff's supposed to be, it's a liquid plastic welder, but don't they, you said they have a, they actually have a device, right? It's kind of like a is it like a plastic soldering iron? I have never like used one. And I think I've seen one, but I'm not sure if it's, yeah, I'm curious if that was over there. There we go. Okay, I was just trying to see where he's going with that. Where that would be. So that would be here. Still fucking with it, right? Keep fucking with it. There we go. Now that'll open. Okay, that looks better. All right, so this actually looks better when it's here because his mouth should be closed, which means the least amount of tension until this moves, and then it should open it. Okay. That looks more like what I'm looking for. Matter of fact, yeah, that would go here. Okay. Yeah, just fucking with it. Put it back together in a way in which we want. So the smart thing would be to go back and watch the video and see where the arms were when I took them apart. But if I remember, they were very, very low. And I thought they were too low because they seemed to be banging against his legs and getting stuck. So I thought maybe they had moved or something like that, but maybe not. This actually looks like this would probably be, there we go. That looks better. Science. It's science. Okay. And you guys ever fix any old shit? Even like remote control cars or any shit like that? I fixed quite a few toys. Most of them have been vehicles. There's a really cool toy, Electro Man, and his electronics get shitty over time. He's a very cool toy. The problem is the electronics. I'm not an electronics expert by any means. Matter of fact, I don't even dabble in electronics. Basic electric, yes. This is basic electric, but all the capacitors and all that shit on there, no, I don't fuck with those because they have a tendency to be a real pain in the ass. Soldering for me is, I hate soldering. A base solder, yes, but when it gets into that little shit, no, I don't like that shit at all. Okay, there we go. Are we in? We're in over here, but not in over there, are we? No? Okay. So here's the other part of the trick is getting this in so it's fitting because we're getting like one side, not the other. The arms are very particular. Fun, fun, fun. Oh, I see that. Okay. That's in, that's in, that's in. There we go. All right, you're in. All right, so let's see if we can get let's see if we can get any better action out of them. I guess we're gonna find out. All right, batteries are in. I wanna hold them together so he doesn't get all jacked up. What, are you coming apart on me over here? Yeah, we're gonna have to brace this. This is gonna get braced heavily. All right, let's see. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you see what he's doing? His arms go up and down. So what he should be doing is, go ahead, walks, and then he stops. Yeah, see his arms are getting a little messed up there. Okay, so that's what we gotta work on. All right, that's what we gotta work on. Oh, they melt plastic rod. It melts plastic rods. Okay, that's cool, Buck. I'll definitely look into that. That sounds like something really cool. Yeah, this needs to. So he should be coming up harder than that, stronger than that, and that's part of this whole mechanism here, which is this, and it's like it's not giving him. I think the tension on the springs, they look okay. But I think these are supposed to be tighter. I think these are too loose, these springs. I think that's why he's not getting the full. Maybe, I don't know. Because this should be pulling those arms up tall, much more. This should be coming back. And then those arms should be going off. So let's see. Oh, I see what's happening. It's getting stuck. That's the problem. Okay, this is getting stuck. It's not able to turn. Okay, that's getting stuck. That's the problem. Which probably means it's not sitting straight. So let's try that again. A little better, but not quite right. This spring needs tension. This spring is weak. I can see this. This spring is not strong. This needs to be much tighter. This one's okay, and that spring again. These are things you can replace, springs and stuff like that. Not a huge deal. So there you have it. Got the inside look to the Kong, to the New Bright Kong. They also made a Big Rex, which was really a Godzilla knockoff, if you will. They called it a dinosaur, but it looked a little bit like Godzilla. So I have that downstairs. That's actually fully working. I have that in the box. So we're going to go ahead and do a little more work on this guy and get his leg fixed and all that good stuff. And then we'll take a look at it later when it's better and see how it came out. All right. Anyway, that's going to be it for today. Thank you all for watching, especially you, Brian Sanchez and Dr. Durant, for your unbridled commentary. What I would do without you, I don't know. But it's good to have everybody else here. And everybody have a great day. I'm actually going to go back to waiting for this to dry, and then we're going to actually go back to work because we have to get some shit done. Everybody have a very wonderful, wonderful rest of your evening. Be good.